I finally found you.
Yes, what is it?
Please tell me about your newest adventure you're planning.
I'm going to feudal Japan during the Tokugawa era.
What do you hope to gain from that?
I hope to gain a first-hand account of what the society was during that time period.
How will you get there? It was hundreds of years ago.
I'm going to go in a revolutionary time machine.
Let me see this time machine.
I will see you in exactly 3 minutes. I must go now.
You're an inspiration, Professor Langer. Goodbye. Whoa! Professor Langer, you've returned!
Yes, I have. I am very weak.
Whoa.
But I made it.
Come, have a seat.
It was a long journey.
Tell me everything about what you've learned.
In time.
A samurai sword. Wow. Sir, you only left for a few seconds. What happened?
Well, through the power of time travel, I spent 5 long years in Tokugawa, Japan. Learned about their society, their culture, their laws. It's very interesting and very different from what it is today.
I see. And what did you learn specifically about feudal Japan during all that time?
Well, first I learned about the culture of Tokugawa, Japan. It is defined by its social classes. There are 4 main groups of people in Tokugawa, Japan. There are the samurai, the warrior class, the farmers who produce the rice, the staple crop of the country. 80% of the country are peasants who make this rice. Then there are the craftspeople and the merchants. Samurai are the most valued class, while the merchants are the least valued, because against Confucian beliefs, they trade items that are materialistic and against Confucian beliefs.
I see. Well, where did you fit into this feudal hierarchy?
Well, I was fortunate enough to become a samurai. Accordingly, the edicts of military household provide specific laws for me and my samurai brothers alone to follow. I have a copy here. One of the laws is Law 12. This law I had to follow was for frugality. Samurai were not permitted under the laws of edict to display the great wealth that we had, or the poor may become jealous and ashamed. This could lead to corruption, which is feared greatly in the Tokugawa period.
I see. But what about the other classes? Surely they had laws as well?
Oh yes, of course. There were certain laws for the other citizens to follow. They were called the Tokugawa house laws. The majority of these laws dictated punishment above all else. Execution was frequent. For example, execution could be committed by boiling, burning, or crucifixion. Also, there were penal punishments and labor camps that you could be sent to for moderate crimes.
I see. There seems to be a difference between the samurai laws and the laws for the general population.
Oh yes, there was a wide disparity for the laws. Samurai were treated much better than the poor, and the poor were 80%, as I stated earlier. The samurai were treated with great wealth, and we had everything provided for us, while the strict laws that were in place for the low-class society of Japan hindered their growth, while we dictated what the lower class did.
I see. It seems as the law displays societal values.
It's very true.
Well, thank you for sharing, Professor Langer.
Pleasure's all mine. I must go now.
Of course.
Have a good day, my friend.
You too.
Professor Wagner, Professor
Shh.
Wagner.
A moment, please. I'm trying to end some calculations.
Professor Wagner, what are you working on?
Let's go.
Where are you going?
My predecessor, Professor Langer, discovered some interesting things about Tokugawa Japan. I hope to continue his legacy in Imperial Japan. I will tell you what I know when I get back.
Well, good luck.
I will see you in a few seconds. Oh, God.
Professor Wagner!
Oh,
It's just me.
oh, God.
What happened?
I was in Imperial Japan for many years and consequently World War II.
Oh, that must have been awful.
Here, sit.
You have to tell me all about it.
Oh.
Professor Wagner, please tell me, what happened?
I experienced the Meiji era of Japan, as well as the rise and fall of their imperialism in World War II.
That's fascinating. Did your experiences compare to that of Professor Langer?
Not at all. Things have changed greatly since Professor Langer's Tokugawa expedition.
How so?
Well, during the rebuilding of Japan in the Meiji era, Japan ended its isolationism to once again interact with Western nations. Thus, in 1871, Japan launched the Iwatura mission to change the unequal treaties Western nations placed upon them, but also the mission hoped to learn and model Japan on the other superpowers.
Did Japan model itself after any nations in particular?
Yes, Meiji Japan was very impressed with the nation of Germany. In fact, Imperial Japan politically, socially, and legally mimics National Socialist Germany, eventually leading the two becoming firm Axis allies in World War II.
How specifically did their culture change?
During this time, Japan was ambitious. They strove for greatness similar to other superpowers through rapid industrialization and militarization. The motto of Japan that every citizen cried out was, enrich the country, strengthen the armed forces. Obviously, this culture was drastically different from the self-reliant, peaceful culture in Tokugawa Japan. The militant, vicious sentiment led to brutality in World War II. In fact, from this brutality, I have a picture that I did take myself in World War II.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Here it is.
Oh,
This is a picture I took during World War II. I barely managed to smuggle it out. It demonstrates the savage beheadings and cruelty towards other nations that Japan demonstrated.
Interesting. What changed politically?
Politically, Japan, like Germany, gave near supreme power to a central ruler, the Emperor of Japan. In the Meiji Constitution of 1868, Article 6, the Emperor is given supreme command of the Army and Navy. Unlike here in the U.S., there are not frequent checks or balances against his authority. Thus, Japan was easily able to launch war.
Oh, what changed legally?
The Japanese civil and criminal codes of 1896 mimicked German civil codes at the same time and gave Japanese citizens rights and was overall very close to general European civil law. However, for the main legal outlook of Japan at that time, you should look at the Oath of the Five Articles, established by the Meiji Emperor in 1868. This oath provides the key values and laws to abide by of Japan at that time. For example, one article is to break off from evil customs of the past, and that all classes, high and low, should be united in carrying out administration.
So what legal conclusions can you draw from this?
Well, from these oaths, it's obvious Japan legally has little similarities and even forbids any resemblance to Tokugawa era. Their uniting of the classes also directly contrasts the legally separated class of the Tokugawa era as well.
Interesting. Thank you for your time.
It's my pleasure. I have to get re-inclined with the modern era now.
Good luck, my friend.
本会議が始まりました。こちら議長応接室では解散詔書が今藤村官房長官に手渡されました。藤村官房長官が応接室を出て本会議場に入ります。今その藤村官房長官が この本会議場に入場しました。議長席の後ろから入って解散詔書を議長席隣の事務総長に渡します。ここで解散詔書が確認されます。紫のふくさが開かれ、中から解散詔書が出されました。解散詔書がまもなく横道議長から読み上げられます。
ただいま内閣総理大臣から詔書が発せられた旨伝えられましたから朗読いたします。日本国憲法第7条により衆議院を解散する。
衆議院が解散されました。衆議院が解散されました。
Hello, this is Professor Wagner. I'm continuing my research on the development of law in Japan over time. Today, I'm in modern Japan, and I'm going to see if I can find someone to tell me about modern-day laws and regulations compared to the past. Let's go, Jim. Let's go, Jim. Come on. I see a civilian. Let's go. Hello there.
Hello.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
How do you do?
I'm very good.
I'm Professor Wagner.
Okay.
I'm from CNN.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you some questions.
No problem.
How do you do?
No problem.
Can you turn the K-pop off?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, what's it like to be a citizen in modern-day Japan?
Well, much has changed since the first feudal period, and
see.
even the imperial age. This change wasn't instituted after the U.S. occupation after World War II. We became a democratic nation. So much freedom.
I see.
With the new constitution in 42, membership into the UN in 56, we really became a democratic nation much like the U.S.
Can you talk a little more about the freedoms?
Oh, sure. Well, it's a very nice atmosphere we have in Japan.
I see.
Well, we still do have an emperor. Power is distributed between a prime minister, House of Representatives, and House of Councilors.
I see. You can have a seat here.
Yeah, sure.
Continue.
Most importantly, though, sovereignty is rested in the people. In a few years, at the age of 20, I will be able to vote, much like everyone else in Japan over the age of 20.
I see. Is there anything else different from past governments?
Well, in the democratic nation I live in today, we base our legal system off of Europe. The branch is separate from executive and legislative branches, and there are 4 courts: district, family, high, and supreme.
I see. Unlike past eras in Japan, can you have fun here?
Oh, you'd be shocked at the changes. Japan is a vibrant nation today, not at all like the strict nation it was before. Starting in the late 1900s and early 2000s, Japan grew to the 2nd largest economy in the world. Our capital of Tokyo was in fact voted the 5th most influential city in the world in 2014. Japan has developed a love for baseball, soccer, seen in the many baseball players who go to the MLB in America,
Wow.
and our Japanese national team who went to the FIFA World Cup.
Wow. Anything else about how you live your life today in modern Japan?
I live freely because of the new constitution, which cites many freedoms Americans are given, such as freedom to assemble, and freedom of speech, previously not given in other eras.
Can you see any other parallels to U.S. law?
I believe I can. In Article 32 of our Constitution, all persons have right to access of the courts, much like the due process laws in America, Amendments 5 through 8.
Yes. Very well. Well, thank you for your time.
Have a good one, Mr. Wagner.
You too. Well, this is Professor Wagner reporting for CNN, comparing Japan then and now. I'm signing off till next week.